Hello, and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook, where we show you one cool thing, which we are testing out in the PC Mag labs. I'm Sasha Segan, this is Michael Muchmore. We have Social Pete on the con, as always, taking your comments and questions. And today we are talking about aspects of the new Apple announcements, which happened yesterday. Most specifically, we are going to show you some of the top features of iOS 11, the operating system which the new iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, and iPhone X are going to be based on. Sorry, that's the iPhone 10. Okay, really, folks out there, who isn't going to be calling it the iPhone X? Everybody's going to call it the iPhone
Apple
X.
employees.
Apple is going to insist that it be called the iPhone 10. This is the whole Mac OS 10 thing all over again.
The cool people called it OS 10.
Right.
Noobs call it OS X.
What were they thinking? But in any case, we are going to be showing you iOS XI, iOS 11. Primarily on an iPad, because that's where a lot of its most dramatic features really come out, though many of those features are also going to be available on the new iPhones, and we will get into that. So, Michael, iOS 11, is it a big step forward?
It will be, it's not a huge step forward. Probably the most noticeable thing people will see is the new control center, which looks like this on the right side there. These music and that will look the same on an iPhone. Of course, you'll only see that on the iPhone screen. But you can use Force Touch. But what we like is the brightness and volume sliders.
And so those sliders weren't there on iOS 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, they were not there. They were not there. So like I could even look. I can go into the camera and I can force or 3D touch it, and I get some options: selfie, video, slow-mo, or take photo. You want to take a photo?
No,
let's
I don't
take a photo of you guys. You're all light.
So let's actually, it looks like we already have questions about the new Apple products. Either that or Pete has put the question sheet in a weird location.
Have you mentioned when iOS 11 is dropping?
It's dropping on the 19th, which is next midweek.
Midweek. The 15th is a Friday, I think, so 16th, 17th, and Tuesday.
Sounds good. Yeah, one week after yesterday's announcement.
Yeah.
And let me just note also, though, that this is going to be available to anyone with a 5S or later. Of course, we're not going to. There are features that they showed yesterday that will be on the iPhone 10 that, of course, we can't show that yet. Or even in the 8, you'll get those portrait mode thing. We already have portrait mode, but they have.
We can't show portrait lighting, which is dependent on the new phone hardware. We can't show you Animoji, which are dependent on the iPhone 10 phone hardware.
Where the emoji mimics your face movement.
Yeah. But one thing we can show you that I think is very important on the iPads is the new dock and the new multitasking features. So why don't you show a little bit of that?
So this dock is very similar to the one on the MacBook or on Mac OS, except you don't have the separate side place for the files. So, but the icons here will not only show, you'll slide up from the bottom to get this view of your multitasking. And icons in the dock will be both pinned apps and running apps. So that's pretty handy to see. And if you're using a keyboard, you still have to bring your hand up
There's no mouse support.
There's no mouse support. That's the big problem. But now what you can do is you can drag an icon up here for slide over. So see how that is like running on top?
Nice.
It's not a side-by-side. Now I can turn it into a side-by-side if I can get this motion right. Let's go. There we go.
Practicing.
So then we can resize here. It's a limited resize. You can't go. Well, it depends on the apps.
You can't resize it vertically, only that way.
Right. And only the app will decide how small you can go. Some apps only let us go like a little more than half screen.
And on the iPad Pro models, now you can have 3 apps, right?
I'm not sure about that.
You can have 3. You can have 2 slide-overs.
Okay.
On a Pro.
Well, should we try it?
Yeah, sure.
I haven't seen that, but I've only gotten 2.
Apple promised me.
All right, let's see.
Apple promised me 2 slide-overs.
So 3? I don't know. I've only been able to get 2, Sasha. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I don't know.
Now, Now, one of the apps you were showing earlier was the Files app, and that is new to iOS 11, and it's a little bit of a change in paradigm for Apple because Apple has never had a user-accessible file system in iOS before. That said, this is not actually the way you think of a user-accessible file system from your experience with Macs or PCs.
I mean, you can see files on the local. See this on my iPad business here. Those are files on here. Most of the files you're going to see are in iCloud Drive, like that. But if an app lets you save it, like Pages lets you save documents to the local storage, you'll be able to get them from here. And this is like open to third-party app developers.
So you'll see your various apps with their own folders, and then you'll also see various cloud services because from the demo I saw with Apple, you could add Dropbox to this.
Right. You could use OneDrive. A lot of third-party storage, online storage,
are going to plug into that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other big features that Apple showed with iOS 11, also critical for productivity in the iPad context, was dragging and dropping content.
Right.
Can you do that yet, or is that depending on new versions of apps?
You can, but it depends on the app support. I'm almost hesitant to even try showing it here.
Well, why don't you drag, for instance, is there a way to, say, drag an element from a web page into an email message?
That's a good question. So wait, now I moved the files out of place here. I want to get it back in the dock. Okay, so let's start.
If you split screen.
Okay, here we go. There's the inbox. So
bring Safari up to the other half.
So we want to try to make a new. Here we go. Make a new email, and let's try to drag a document in there, or this.
Yeah, you can drag that movie in.
But yes. Ta-da!
See, and now you can drag and drop content between your windows.
It's a big movie.
Even if it was created in another application, and that's...
Yeah, drag and drop on a mobile device is pretty unique. So,
yeah, that's much more like the actual
desktop,
PC experience, much more. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me show you one other thing, is notifications have changed. So you still swipe down from the top, and this is the same on the phone. But what you see now is it looks like the lock screen.
God, Apple News is such a notification nightmare.
Well, I'm thankful for it because we have some notifications to show. But notice how the screen, it looks like the lock screen, but it's not the lock screen. You can just swipe out of it.
It's the notification screen. It's kind of like the notification window shade on Android.
But see, this swipe action up from the toolbar is what gets you the multitask.
And now, notice with this multitasking screen, there's a really cool thing going on in the corner, which is that one of these aren't all apps. One of these screens is 2 apps.
Ah, right. So it's just multiple desktops, basically, even though it's not a desktop.
What you have really happening here is virtual desktops.
Yeah, and you can swipe up to remove things, just as the old swiping up to get rid of apps running.
Okay, so first of all, do we have any other questions about iPhones, iPads, iOSs?
So you would say that this is really, it's most exciting for iPad users. Like it's a little more subtle changes for iPhone.
At this point, yeah. Now the one really cool thing that for some reason I can't show on this iPad, but I can show on this phone, but it's too small to show. There are some really cool new live photo effects. And as you remember, live photos they're really miniature videos. They're 3-second videos. It's 90 frames of information. Now you can choose which will be the still version of your live photo mini video. So you can slide through. Actually, I can show that.
So you can
here.
pick where in the 3 seconds the still photo resides.
Exactly. And if I go to edit here, so here we go. See on the bottom, I can choose which frame I want.
It's like a video editor. And
Exactly.
You can pick your frame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are cool effects that you can do on the iPhone. I don't know why I'm not seeing them on the iPad, but there's a loop effect, which I could take the live photo and have it keep repeating. There's a bounce effect, which is a back and forward, which is kind of a fun effect. And there's also a long exposure effect, which is really cool for rivers. So you've seen those waterfall pictures where it just looks like glossy, smooth water. The long photo effect does that stuff.
Okay, and now I think we also need to talk about ARKit. Is ARKit only in iOS 11?
Yeah, but it's only in the new Gear. It's not in the
ARKit will work with the earlier.
Will it work with 7?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think it would go all the way back.
It actually does.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't really get to test because
the apps aren't out there yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to say that ARKit is a big, big part of Apple's strategy going forward, and that augmented reality is going to be huge on iPhones going forward. And so you're going to see a lot of these augmented reality applications coming out real soon now.
I really like the MLB one where you could like point your camera to the field and you'll see the players' names over the live players. That's pretty cool.
Looks like we have a question out there.
We've got someone asking how iOS 11 performs on the iPhone 6s compared to iOS 10. Is there going to be a big
We have not
difference?
tested it on older devices yet.
No, yeah, we've only tested on the 7, and it's fine on the 7.
Yeah, I mean, when it finally comes out, we will get the devices we have and run some benchmarks.
There's one other little cool feature I didn't test. Everyone loves screenshots, and they handle it a little bit differently in iOS 11. So here I'm going to take a screenshot. Whoops, not Siri.
And you get Siri.
Oh wait, I'm in power, not volume. There we go. Look at, you get this little preview in the corner of your screenshot, and then when you tap on that, you can actually mark it up. So it's a pretty neat little screenshot effect. They know people love screenshots. And I just learned how to take a screenshot on an iPhone X. I'm calling it X.
How do you take a screenshot on a phone without a home
Well,
button?
no, but they have that. Remember the side button is on the iPhone
Vaguely,
X?
yeah.
There's a side button, and you do that with volume up.
Okay.
So they have a little out there by not having the button. They added the side button.
Okay, so is this at all any kind of game changer for Apple? And I think there's two different ways to ask that question. One of them is it at all a game changer in terms of the balance between Apple and Android in phones, but also is it a game changer in terms of enabling the iPad in new ways, which may cause people who didn't previously want to get an iPad to get an iPad?
As a productivity tool, I mean, I think it will make the people, there are a lot of people already, I mean, almost everyone with an iPad Pro, I've only seen people use it with a keyboard. And I think those people will be happier. I mean, as far as, frankly, I mean, I don't see it as a productivity platform still, really. I mean, you can do it, but it's not going to be like a Surface Book or something like that, or even in a
Looks like we have
MacBook.
another question.
Is there any way to close all apps in multitasking with just one button or gesture?
You don't need to close apps on iOS.
You can restart the device.
Yes, this is important, okay? iOS's background app handling.
They're not using any processing.
Right.
Basically.
They will by default, put the apps into hibernation and essentially turn them into pointers. So if it appears to be running a bunch of apps in the background, those are just pointers to app states.
Along those usage lines, there is a new thing in iOS 11, which is pretty nice. It will detect which apps you never use, and I think you can automatically have them removed. And also, it has much better tools for finding out who's taking up all your disk space and how to optimize your disk space. Well, storage space.
Yeah. But the idea of Apple's multitasking is very restricted. So if something is running in the background and doesn't actually appear to be doing anything in your system, it is probably hibernating, and throwing it out won't actually make a difference to anything other than your psychology. So
that's it. Yeah, the screenshot thing.
Okay,
that was pretty much everything I wanted to show.
So is there any reason for people not to upgrade to iOS 11?
No, I don't think so. I think there used to be that fear of when you had an older iPhone, when you upgraded,
it would drag it down.
It would drag it down. It would not work well. But I think Apple's sort of learned its lesson with that. I think they're not going that way anymore for the built-in obsolescence plan.
Okay. So, of course, we will have a full review of iOS 11 when it comes out, after it comes out next week.
We already have a nice full preview of it you can see on PCMag.com.
But we are running, one thing I want to note is that we are running a beta. And so, you know...
But an Apple beta at version 9 of the beta, it's pretty stable. We haven't really run into any crashes.
It's stable, something else may...
Yeah, I wouldn't do it on a mission critical phone or something.
Yeah. But so iOS 11 will be out next week. Do we have any more questions about our Apple products? No? Okay, so everybody, keep an eye on PC Mag's Facebook. We have some great videos out there summarizing yesterday's Apple announcements. The iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone 10. See, I said 10. The Apple Watch, the Apple TV 4K, and we will have more Apple product coverage as time goes on, along with all of our, Windows, Android. We are platform agnostic here at PC Mag. If it computes, we will cover it. Thank you all for watching. We will be back with one cool thing at 10 a.m. tomorrow.